It's a not my thing. It's a not my thing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Live Stream. I'm your host, Edie Arndell. I'm here with my absolutely wonderful co-host, Mr. Scott Free.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
So our guest had to work overtime. I think a lot of people know about that, right? So she's here, but she needs to get home, kind of like get settled for a second, let the puppy dogs out, and then she'll be with us. But
Yep.
yeah. So there's a lot going on, and that we were kind of talking about it a few minutes ago. Just it's like it's hard to know even where to start. It's so bad right now.
Well, this does remind me so much of Iraq, where, you could feel that, it was that discouraging feeling that you knew that the government was going to, start bombing a country, and you knew that the press was going to get all behind it. I remember except I don't remember the name. I should have looked that up. Desert Storm, I think it was. If that was the second one. But I just remember like them talking about, are they going to drop a bomb? And then it happened, and immediately all of the press had the names and the graphics under the. It's like, you guys have been planning this crap. You didn't come up with those graphics 5 minutes ago. So it's creepy just knowing that they're getting everything together. And I shared, I should have included that. I can't remember who did it, but they said, watch out. There's that aircraft carrier that they've just sent over to the Middle East. And they said it's old and
it's the
beat
Nimitz.
up. The Nimitz. And
that's the one my husband served on.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. So they're saying that they're putting it over there because it's old and beat up, and that they're going to stage a false flag. And unfortunately, the Marines on that may get, if it happens, the thing is,
it's Navy and Marines. Yeah.
Okay, Navy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it's just the idea that every single big war, if they're going to sell a big war to Americans, they have to match it with a big lie.
Yeah.
Gulf of Tonkin.
And they do small lies too.
But there's the big one that gets everybody, ready to go. So they just were like, watch out. If this thing gets bombed and they blame Iran, get ready.
Hiya, Kalia. Thanks for coming.
Hey, how you doing? So, yeah. And it's, you get that feeling. And obviously Trump is just, he's gonna. Unfortunately, I think he's just gonna do whatever Netanyahu wants him to do. I just think he's.
Well, I did read somewhere where somebody was saying who has more power, Trump or AIPAC in Congress.
Oh God, not even close. AIPAC.
Maybe it's AIPAC.
Bing.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why he's cozying up to anyone that will give him a check for money, or make him a deal to make him rich. I'd like to talk about the Dems in 2016 could have impeached Trump on the emoluments clause, which says you can't profit from your office, but all of them would have been in trouble as well. That's why they didn't do it. Corruption goes deep, baby.
They haven't mentioned it. And, obviously there's a million things that are going on. We are now in, the Hitler phase of this country where they're going around with masks on and grabbing people everywhere. It's just the most horrific situation.
I really never thought I'd see this in this country.
Right. I just can't. And then on top of that, now we've got Iran looming. And it's frightening. And what's the quote? The first thing to die in war is truth. It's really hard. And especially now there's AI. I'll see some bomb things and I'm like, that's so perfect. I'm going to guess AI. But it's so hard to know. And like the media stuff that I'm getting from Iran, I'm just finding stuff on Facebook and X and stuff, and it's independent underground. It's like, is it true? It's really hard to know, because the thing is, our press is certainly not going to give any reality. They're not. It's going to be extremely biased. They're saying, and you can see it. It was all based on the Iron Dome, right? That was the thing that was the fortress that was going to keep Israel protected. Well, obviously that's fallen apart. I mean, they can't hide that. Now,
Well,
supposedly, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, Israel is not on defense; it's on offense. It is attacking everything that it moves. Apparently, any brown person, they attacked Iran over words, and they've been after them for over 20 years since
Yeah,
I can remember.
it isn't even words. I mean, they've got video of Netanyahu like 30 years ago. Iran's about to get a nuclear, warhead. We have to stop them. 30 years ago, they were saying that. So yeah, it's just an excuse. It's just he wants it.
He wants it, so he did it. So now he's playing the victim again.
Right.
It's just gross, in my opinion. But Brian's here. What's up, Brian?
Hey,
So good to
how's
see
it
the
going?
regulars. I love it.
Hey, all right.
I was watching RBN where Nick was talking about Ted Cruz and mentioned bad cookies on Hardlands Media. Was telling everyone to do nothing and not join the Green Party. They told me he quit.
Okay, I'm not sure who you were referring.
Yeah, I kind of got lost in that.
I got lost. And what is bad cookies on?
I don't know. I guess I'm not familiar. Well, maybe he'll explain. This figures the day after I outed him, he was very friendly with everyone for 2 days and then left.
You're gonna have to put a name on that because we don't know who you're talking about.
We
got lost.
We don't have the inside scoop, so I don't know who Bad Cookies is.
But
did Ted Cruz leave the country? That'd be cool.
Well, of course, the Ted Cruz thing that's viral is the Tucker Carlson interview, which it is really pretty. I mean, Tucker slams him because he's ignorant. He's completely ignorant about the country he's about to bomb. He knows nothing about Iran, nothing. And, I'm so glad that there's a Tucker Carlson. Yes, the guy's a jerk. He's his race, his past, but he is doing opposition for the Republicans who want to just do this. They want to, and at least Tucker has an anti-war stance that. But I mean, he's doing it right now. That's for sure. That Ted Cruz interview is super viral, and he says, "Oh, so I've got breaking news. So the U.S. is already involved because Ted just let something slip out." And so yeah, it's just horrific. These politicians, oh my God, I just wish that people could see it on both sides. These people are completely controlled ops who just do what their donors want and their reelection campaigns want. That's all they do. So, I mean, it's just, it's horrific.
I know. Yeah. Brian says Cruz is smart, not worth his time to know anything. He's so smart. He doesn't have to know the facts.
Yeah.
And apparently Bad Cookies was the moderator for Kit.
Oh, that other guy. Oh, because I thought Kit was kind of solo for a while. Okay. Yeah, it's a rough space that we find that there's a tendency, to be. I brought this up before. The gals are doing it over on in the YouTube space. Sabby Sabs and Brianna Joy. They're very positive about the Green Party. They really are, and even JB RPN. He came on our show and he was real positive. He just, I understand that they both. It's both sides because the Green Party also struggles internally. I mean, there are it's so interesting. Like, we've been talking to folks about like history of Green Party, and there have been 2 occasions where it was kind of, people from the past. And this is the Illinois Green Party, and I'm not naming names. It's not important. But the interesting thing is, it was like the spouse that had a political view that really was not in line with the Green Party at all. And that kind of caused the tension, and the person left, and they, the people, there's more than one that we've talked about recently, and, doing great contributions to the Green Party because of their relationship situation that, they left. And so, it's not a monolithic concept. I mean, people have different ideas. I know I'm way out there. Some people, I'm sure, in the Green Party think I'm like, oh my God, this guy is out to lunch. But, I will admit, I come from the radical revolutionary side of things. I definitely do. I mean, My
Yeah.
favorite party is, Green Party is my second favorite party. Black Panthers are my first. Okay. So loyalties too. Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
Well,
and,
I come from the activist realm.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
protesting. I mean, I just realized the first protest I ever went to was the Iraq War because
Oh, wow.
my son was there.
Okay.
And I'm out there protesting in San Diego and had no idea who anybody was. And I remember somebody speaking about Palestine and everybody just froze like deer in headlights. We're like,
Mhm.
I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
just what, a little over 20 years ago, right? Or yeah.
Oh, it's amazing to see all these posts and reports in, right, 20, 30 years ago, quotes from, Malcolm X about Palestine. And like, I mean, Nelson Mandela, they've got the photo of him coming down the stairs from the Gaza airport, which was blown up 20 years ago. So yeah, it has been, but
It's been a nightmare.
and
We're hoping Angela can join us soon. And if
well,
she can't, she's probably really tired. She had a very long day.
yeah, we
Working
caught her
class
in the car.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Joe's here.
Oh, hey.
Hey Joe. Both of them are stupefying Teflon. I'm not sure who you mean. Hoping for an SUV size meteor, than a toaster size one. I don't hope for.
That's another really like I watch Jamal Thomas, and like he apologizes at the beginning and he shows these shots of the bombs hitting Tel Aviv, and he's like, I can't help it. I cannot. He goes, to a year and a half of watching IDF and the Israelis torture and kill and maim, and I mean, I know we're anti-war, but oh my God, you have that revenge thing. You're like, finally, they're.
Joe says, "You peacenik."
I know.
I will say this. This is my stance. Like, I don't wish them harm. I wish them to stop.
I know, but
I also
they
can't
won't.
muster any sympathy when it happens.
But they will not. They will not stop. They will not stop.
At some point, you have to understand that these people will stop at nothing.
No, nothing.
And they need to be stopped.
Yeah. So. Oh no. I mean, you watch the videos and the interviews of these people; they are completely lost their minds. I mean, no, Zionism is Nazism. It's a step up from Nazism because they are so proud. They post it everywhere. They are absolutely proud of what they do. Nazis used to hide stuff. I mean, it's unreal how it's beyond imagination.
Did you see that creepy kids singing Mama Ran to Barbara Ann? Did you see that?
That was made famous by our ex-Republican senator who's no longer with us.
John McCain.
Yep.
I remembered that. I remembered him doing that on the campaign trail, and I'm like, what the hell? Making a joke about killing people. I don't like it.
But it really shows. And he was there in 2014 for the Ukraine Maidan Nazi coup. Okay, folks. He was there for both of those. So that's the thing. These politicians they are psychopaths. And they get elected because they got a ton of money behind them. But they get that money because they're psychopaths and they are willing to do this crap. And that's the Ted Cruz of today. That's Ted Cruz. Psychopath. Absolute psychopath, and he gets the money for it.
Yeah, McCain was so proud.
Yep. Oh, these people are sick. What's his face? South Carolina, the gay one. South Carolina,
the not out gay one.
Yeah, I know, but please,
Lindsey Graham.
I mean, the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Hello. Well, the joke. Okay, the joke in my little world. Oh, he's not gay. He's gay. That's our joke. We use it all the time. Sorry if it's kind of offensive, but that's our. I'm gay, so it's like it's the in crowd kind of thing.
Hey, but the best comedians are the ones that make fun of themselves and their own people.
Yeah. I mean,
Kalia says we're anti-war, not anti-self-defense. And now Brian's got something in here that I'm not sure, but I've been in the Tom Hartman world a few times and pushed
Oh
back.
God.
And
Oh God.
so Brian also outed a moderator on Hartman 6 years ago, almost, who was backing Tom's assertion that Biden was the next FDR and Kamala was a superhero. But then he follows up with this statement: "That got me 5 black ops helicopters over my roof on the flight path."
Oh, there you go. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Cool.
I don't know what that means. But yeah, no, I mean, we are in an apocalypse, folks. We are definitely like it's a nightmare. I mean, there, like we said, there's so many stories to cover. The helicopters, it just remind me of Palantir. And there was some meme, I should have shared it. It was a little cartoon of this guy like kind of running saying, well, talking about, being in the US. He goes, well, at least there's no Mexicans here. And there's like cameras completely surrounding him, right? I mean, that's our future, folks. No Mexicans, but lots of monitoring nonstop,
Yeah.
and people
Yeah.
coming around in masks and grab folks who even look Mexican. I mean, it's just we're in a nightmare. We're in a nightmare.
So I swear. So I went to a protest. I've been to many, and I don't care who knows it. Okay. I protest. I live in Carbondale. Okay. They accused some people. I wasn't at this one. They accused somebody of vandalizing one of our federal buildings. The cops were there the entire time before the protesters got there. The entire time they were there. After they left, so were cameras. So was the local paper. They even checked it again in the morning. Nothing had happened, and yet the story was federal building gets vandalized in Carbondale.
Yeah, right.
So we have a small town. So just think about how much of that is going on in LA.
Right. Oh,
Constantly.
there was just a photo. I think it was LA. It might have been DC, but I think it was LA. And somebody had taken a photograph of a pile of bricks, and they were like, "Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait." And sure enough, I've said on this show before, I saw that in downtown Chicago during Black Lives Matter, and I didn't even register until I got home. I was like, "Oh shit, a pile of bricks there," and there was no construction going on. Like, who put those there? Right? I don't know. It's true.
Yeah, and then Sabby was talking about that that Jewish, I don't know if it's a bakery or a store in Brookline that had a Free Palestine brick thrown through the window.
Oh, okay.
And the guy was all like covered up, and they were trying to blame it on the students. Well, the students are gone.
Yeah, right.
It's summer. Right. They're not there. Brookline is like a sleepy little town with lots of rules, she said. She's like, I ain't buying it. I feel like it was on purpose.
Well, that's why we're worried about the aircraft carrier out in the Middle East. Is it going to be a little setup? The same way.
Like the Liberty.
Yep.
Israel bombed the Liberty.
Yep.
Those people almost died. Some people survived.
I thought people died. 1960.
Yeah, Israel bombed them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they knew who they were. They had their flag on. They had actually came by and waved at them, and then something changed. And they told their superiors, and their superiors said, "Now you can never repeat that to another living soul."
And they suppressed that in the news and in the news. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Michelle's here. What's up, Michelle?
Hey.
Maryland had its state assembly last Saturday. Andy Ellis gave wonderful closing remarks.
So I shared that on Facebook, but I haven't had time to watch it. You're not supposed to share before you watch things. No, but I do. It'd be great. So I shared it. Absolutely.
You're like, it's Andy. Of course.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. What we need is more people to help us do the Illinois Green Party work.
Well, and all the Green Party everywhere. Folks, I always make this pitch. Share, comment, like anything Green Party. I mean, it's just, we got to get the voices out there. And Hartman just got me fired. Or S. Bush Cheney got me helicopters. Okay. Well, you're doing a lot more than we do here. We just sit here and talk. Nothing's going on in our world. Oh, 34 died. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's never, the crime is always the cover up, right?
Yeah.
We just are in Israel's pocket. I don't know who's leading who around by the nose.
Well,
I really don't know.
people have kind of said it's kind of one and the same. It isn't like necessarily right. Right. It is
Yeah.
one and the same. I mean, there are people here, Americans, for whom this is the agenda too. So it's, tied at the hip or whatever you want to call it. But no, it's just it's
Lockstep.
horrific. Lopstep. There's another one.
Lockstep. Because that makes you think soldiers, right? And like authoritarian.
Yeah.
But I will also say that, fighting your people at home while you're fighting the people abroad and starting a bunch of trouble, it's just going to precipitate the fall of this empire.
Right. Oh,
And
it's in the process. Yep.
and Green Party or any other party that can step up. I think we should all join forces, to be honest. Like, let's just join forces. We'll all bring our strengths and just form a whole new thing. Let's have a do-over. I'd like a whole new election in 2028 for everybody.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
in DC.
yeah, I think we do
All of
call
them.
for the removal of all politicians. I mean, they should all
Resignation.
resign. Yeah, they should all resign.
Dereliction of duty. I mean, the Bernie Sanders thing, he's got some stupid resolution to not bomb Iran, like it's going to matter. Instead of, it's Congress's one of Congress's powers. They're the only ones that are allowed to declare war, and they have been not doing that since World War II. They have given it to the executive, and they need to take it back. If they were serious, that's what they'd be doing. You do not have that power anymore. We are reestablishing our war powers. Any military action has to go through Congress.
But again, they are fully aware. They fully know that, and they fully are complying because that's what they are paid to do.
Yeah.
That is their job. Do what you are told. So yeah, we need folks with a moral compass who will not be taken in by bribes. And it's kind of a rare quality. I understand that. That's why, the Green Party is not as big as some of these other parties because they can find people who will sell out in a second. And we've seen people leaving the Green Party and selling out, right? Kirsten Sinema, she was Green Party. AOL helped the Green Party.
AOC, you mean?
AOC. AOL. AOL is a computer system.
Yes. Yeah. Who was it? Justin Beth got a picture of her. Found a picture of her.
Right.
Knocking doors with a Green Party petition before she became a Dem, and then
tries to fake slam us, during the 2014 Jill Stein campaign.
So good to see you here, Joe. Hartman was backing Biden, and he professes to be politically savvy and a progressive. I never tune in on WCPT.
Oh, WCPT. I know. And there's a gay show on WCPT on Sunday mornings. And I've been on it many, many, many times. But they're right. They're Democrat supporters. I don't think I could go. I don't think they'd ask me anymore. Out Chicago is what it's called. But no, it's right. CPT is a real disappointment. I mean, luckily we do have, places that you can go to. YouTube has spaces that we, are encouraging folks to go to. There's plenty out there, but you're right. The radio world is not too great. And I'm so disappointed in Tom Hartman. I mean, I don't know what his deal is. He's it seems like such a good moral person, right? He doesn't seem like a grifter, but he's got to be a grifter at some point. You can't go this many years and still be supporting the genocidal Democrat presidential candidate. No, I mean, I have to take that back. I don't give him any space.
Well,
he knows exactly what he's doing.
Is he thinks that the Democratic Party is the answer, so he's all in. He's a vote blue no matter who person. And I remember when Trump got kicked off of Twitter, I said they will use this to kick other people off, and I got slammed in the comments because they wanted to ditch on Trump. And I'm like, y'all don't see that when you remove one, the possibility of your voice can be removed as well.
Right.
Like they could not see my argument.
Right. Nope, they don't get it. But no, I mean, there's especially now that the Democrats did a genocide, there is no one.
I don't know about that. I was told he became CIA while while a
Okay.
missionary in
No,
Africa.
I mean, no. I think that we need to move away from this idea that that's some kind of conspiracy theory. I mean, obviously, I just saw it, but so I don't know. But oh my God, without a doubt, who was it? Was it Angela Dave? No, who is it that recently admitted they were CIA? There's so many people who have worked for the CIA. I mean, it, and that they infiltrated, and they infiltrate a lot of
Mhm.
popular musicians, popular, writers, artists. Oh God. I mean, again, it's this idea people will sell out. And I get it. It's hard to make a career out of arts and entertainment. It's a rough business.
Yeah.
And
I know.
so
Art and entertainer. I'm an artist and he's a
right,
musician.
right.
Like we know.
So it's really rough and right. And especially if you reach some level of success, yes, they're going to be there knocking at your door. Hey, we're the CIA. We could, if you would just push this message. And I mean, they do it everywhere. There was I think Gray Zone has done some good articles on that. Like all of certainly musicians in Cuba, I think they've been putting together like rap albums that are anti-communist and again, supporting all these musicians again to fit their destroy any country who wants to experiment with communism, right?
Well,
It's
it's such a threat to capitalism, not our country. It's a
right.
threat to the myth of capitalism because if they can make it work by some other economic system somewhere else, has nothing to do with democracy. It's an economic system.
Right.
I could be slightly wrong on that, but that's the way I understand
Yeah,
it.
but I think the important thing is just to get the principles. I mean, that's one thing I hate about the left. Absolutely hate about the left in America is how they get all so specific about, well, I'm a communist and you're not quite a communist, so F you. It's like, guys, this is all
Well,
like brain theory. We're sitting in a capitalist system. Don't say you're a communist when when you're doing all the other stuff that capitalists do. I mean,
you're
we're
a
not
capitalist.
capitalists. I get it. Well, no, I mean, I had to learn this.
Mhm.
I didn't. Again, it's all a learning process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are not capitalists. We are not capitalists because we don't own a business and hire folks, and let's say own a condo that you rent out, so you got renters. So we are not making money off the labor of other people. So we're not actually capitalists, but we live in a capitalist world. And except for
So
going on,
we're the proletariat, we're the serfs.
well, except for going to some commune somewhere and completely cutting off, we're saying you're capitalist it's great, but it's theory. It's theory, and again, I just don't think that it's as important as getting the country to change its leaders so that we have a system which is more providing to the people of the country and not just giving it all to the CEOs and the owners of capital. So that's where I think people should unify around is those concepts, not just declare
Yeah, I know. I mean, the Economic Bill of Rights has been pushed around for years. We still don't have it. Since FDR, I think.
And Angela's here.
Angela's here.
Okay.
I was just going to read this and then we'll let her
Okay.
in. Kentucky State Senator Robin Webb left the Democratic Party on May 30th, now affiliating herself with Republican Party.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah. I mean, what can you do?
Well, let's welcome Miss Angela Walker,
Hey.
hardworking lady. Thanks for making time for us today. And you got a kitty in your lap.
God.
This is PJ. This is our skate artist. That's her mama behind me. And this one cannot be contained. She just isn't going for it. So you'll hear it's a lot going on. That's all I can say.
Love it.
Peach.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, she's cute. But she's a kitten. She's like, let me go, let me go. I gotta
No, you're not getting down because she wants to. I came in here and it was kitty apocalypse. Her siblings stay in where we put them, but this one here does not do that. Ty said hi, Ty.
Hey, Geechee.
Hey, Geechee.
That's my wife.
Okay.
In the chat. But yeah, there's a PJ. hold on one second. Let me put her back because
It's fine. It's
this is
fine.
not going to work. So just one second.
Well, it's fun for us to watch, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike-
we're
Yeah,
being
her mom will
entertained.
be still. This one won't. Give me 1 second.
Kalia says, "Thank you for being here, Angela. You're the reason I committed to the Green Party. I really appreciate it."
Wow. That's
Wow.
Thank you.
nice.
Long time no here. Whew.
I know,
Yeah.
love
I mean, I
cats.
love animals too. At the moment, I don't
Yeah.
have any because I don't have any time for them, but they're a lot. But I think animals are better than people.
They are. I've said my favorite videos on Facebook are animals that help each other. It's the most incredible thing to watch. You
Yeah.
watch these birds feeding fish. They're like, it's incredible. It's like these animals are the best. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to give animals credit. Like, I think part of the dehumanization of the natural world is when you dehumanize or take away the importance and the fact that these creatures are their own self-contained sentient entities. It makes it easier to exploit them. And I think a lot of people forget that point sometimes. Kalia, if I'm mispronouncing your name, honey, please forgive me. Hey, Kalia, thank you. I saw that comment. I'm honored. I don't even know what to say. I'm honored. Thank y'all for having me. It's been a very long day. I started work at 5 this morning. I got off now. So one of the things that I want to that's right at the forefront of my mind, because there is so much going on and I don't want to miss things. First off, happy Juneteenth tomorrow.
Yes.
Happy Pride for all of us in the family. It's a big rainbow, and there's so many different places where we all fall. So happy Pride, happy Juneteenth. And that intersection of Pride and Juneteenth, we are talking about two instances of resistance.
Yeah.
And I think that gets lost in the desire, which is entirely human, but the desire to celebrate, to where we forget what we're commemorating.
Yeah.
Pride became what it was because queer, trans, gender non-conforming folks stood up to the pigs and said, you're not going to abuse us anymore.
Right.
We are not here to be, here to be mistreated. We're not here to be, you're not going to just abuse us.
Right.
And when you talk about Juneteenth, I mean, let's remember that it was people who were held in bondage 2 years longer than they had to be, which was already egregious. But their Jubilee came 2 years later than it should have. And so when one of the interesting questions that came up around Juneteenth last year that was being discussed is, how should we commemorate it? How should we celebrate it? And I come from Milwaukee, which is a city that has a very long history of celebrating Juneteenth. It's like at one time was a whole big, beautiful celebration, been going on for decades before it ever became a national holiday. And it was always a celebration of our understanding our history and looking at our future as Black people, and what that meant in also connecting our struggle as Black people for liberation on Turtle Island, also to the liberation struggles of other folks around the world. And I think that is a beautiful segue, because, and I know some people are going to give me heat for it, like, Juneteenth is only about Black people. First off, I know that. Second of all, solidarity, Black solidarity with other oppressed groups has always been part of our struggle. We have a long, beautiful history of that. And we are seeing that play out in LA. We are seeing that play out, in various different places. Team Iran over here. Let's just say that. In all of these things. And I'm thinking, and Jackie Lukman, I love you, brought it up this morning about the fact that on the Remix Morning Show, which if y'all are not on Black Liberation Media, watching all of the stuff they put out, you need to be. So I'm gonna plug it. We it was brought up the fact that, and I had forgotten about that. When you talk about Iran and the fact that, I guess I remember the hostage crisis at the beginning of the 80s, they let the black people go and
Oh,
said,
wow.
you know what? We have common cause with y'all. Y'all can go home. We're going to keep these other ones. But we and you have common cause. When you think about Muhammad Ali saying, hey, no Vietnamese ever called me out my name.
Right.
And the work that Kwame Ture did building with oppressed groups, Malcolm X with oppressed, all day.
Yeah.
All day. For us standing at that intersection of black and queer, black and trans, black and gender non-conforming, hell yeah. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
we have this history of resistance. And I think overarching everything that we're dealing with now, because here in the States, we have Pride Month. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. The thing that's foremost on my mind is how we continue to resist.
Absolutely.
We have lots of thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, and one of the things, I mean, it's a result of the success that we've had, is that folks don't realize what it was like in the past. And I'm just going to speak from my LGBT experience. And I looked back at articles around Stonewall when it happened and that weekend. And it was 1968. And the Village Voice, I don't know if you guys know the Village Voice, New York arts paper, the coolest thing that's ever been. Oh my God, they did a paragraph. It was so insulting to the gay community. It was astounding. I couldn't believe it. But it gives you a real that was the most like liberal thing in New York. And it was a complete shit show. It was just them making fun of queers as they fought with their, fans against the police.
How is that any different than the anti-war people hippies putting a flower in the gun barrel?
It's just the idea that
it's still a struggle. We're trying to fight oppression no matter where it is.
And I don't think the New York Times that was the only paper that even covered the event, because that's how under the radar folks were, and they wouldn't even talk about it, right? The whole thing about, they wouldn't, I know it was years before the New York Times even used the word gay. They wouldn't use it. They only used homosexual. So that's the environment that we came out of. And that's just a generation ago. But, right. I mean, and it is so important that people, like you said, understand how important the intersectionality, how's that? Intersection. I like that. The adding to the pride flag of the trans, black, brown colors. I mean, how important that is, because each step is a continuation of recognizing the importance that we have to work together, that we have to be together, because look what we're fighting. I mean, look what we are fighting.
And we're dealing with an enemy whose playbook doesn't change. Like the way the empire moves, they don't deviate. They don't change. Like their playbook is pretty much out there. They like, to give a perfect example, what they're trying to do to Iran right now.
Yep.
Is the fact that and there's a statement that thank you for sharing that in the chat. The Black Alliance for Peace, of which I'm also a member, made a fire statement about what is happening in Iran and the fact that this is regime change. And how this is working. So that's in the chat. Or y'all can go on Black Alliance for Peace's website, Black Agenda Report also, and get that. So because there's a lot of, again, negative propaganda going around about what's going on with Iran, how Iran is your enemy, and
Yeah.
And two.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, are we gonna fall for this again?
I know.
I remember 9/11.
I didn't fall for it. I didn't fall for it in 1979 when I was still a kid, and Reagan made them wait to release the hostages so he could get elected.
Oh yeah, remember that, right?
I remember that, and I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was something's wrong here, man.
and the thing is, like, even with 9/11, which in 1979 I was like 5, so it was like brewing in there, but like
a little older.
Just a little,
This
it was a good time. But I remember because I was driving a school bus on the day those planes hit those buildings. And the immediate like blowing up of the Islamophobia that had already been present, and then watching the way the wheels turn to get people on board with going after this country, when there was this one country when it was very clear that the person who orchestrated this was not from that country. It was like, wait, how y'all get over here? This is he's not from there. What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And
it was Saudi Arabia.
Thank you.
Saudi Arabians got a free ticket out of the country, even though nobody else is allowed to fly.
And who do we see doing that now? It wouldn't be somebody landing in Greece when no one else can leave their colony, but we're gonna leave that alone. The parallels are ridiculous. And I'm hoping, again, people in this country by and large are very ahistorical, and that is by design.
Right.
We see attacks on public education all over the country. Particularly on the humanities, of which history is one of those things, the altering of textbooks, the intentional misinformation. This is why they do it. This is where we are, so that they can be like, you know what? You're stupid enough to not remember 20 something years ago when we did this to you. It wasn't what you thought it was.
It's also why I really feel like social media plays a huge role in just like keeping people super distracted. You can use it for good, or you can use it just to distract yourself all day. And, and it's why they're not funding education. And the education that I got, it was nothing compared to what I got after I got out of school.
Oh, nothing. Absolutely.
I learned more after than when I was in.
Absolutely.
Especially on history.
Oh,
and I'm still learning, and I love that. So,
and I think to a degree that's a good thing, because you want people to want to be lifelong learners, but at the same time, that has to be stoked by our public education system.
Yeah.
And the argument is, our system has failed. No, it has been failed. When you defund something to the point where it can't work like it's supposed to, this is what you're going to get. Again, do we understand history in this country? And that we we are up against an enemy, basically, that is very, very smart, very well funded, very patient. They play a very long game.
Yeah.
And we are always, what passes for the left in this country, we're always like getting sucker punched, because it's like, we should have known you were going to do that.
Yeah.
We know you. We know how you move. You never change your playbook. This stuff in Israel going on with the Zionist entity is nothing but manifest destiny. Where have we seen that play out before? Yeah. We know what we're looking at.
Right.
And so it's just like,
yeah, I know. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating. What are your thoughts on what we should do? I have a thought.
Let's go for yours first. Because mine is so basic.
Okay.
To where it's almost laughable. Like, it's so basic. So yeah, let's have yours first.
I have been talking for 6 months about organizing a general strike. People give me pushback because you have to get unions. I understand that. But there are a lot of things that individual people can do, and it won't take everyone. If you stop buying, if you start canceling your stuff, cancel your accounts that aren't necessary, figure it out, shop local, stock up on food, and just let's go for a month and not buy anything. Now, I realize not everybody could do the second part of staying home from work or school, because there's a lot of, fear and can't provide and all that. But there are a lot of people in this country that have enough money they can. And or they don't work already or retired. They can do it too. And we have to hit them in their pocket.
And also think about, there's networks that we can build to support one another. A lot of people that I love and follow are very big into mutual aid and things like that. So it's like, is that going to take the place of your the income that you need to bring in, or is that going to take the place of the fact that, or is it going to minimize the fact that the social safety nets that people are owed in this country are being eroded or taken away completely? Like, I understand why people are afraid. And
Me too.
as much as I support a general strike, and I do, because they need to be the parasite class needs to be reminded that they're not the ones in power.
Yeah.
But
Thanks, chat.
And in a way, Iran, they're kind of planning a general strike in a sense, because that at least the talk is that they may shut off the Strait of Hormuz, and that is where all the oil comes through, and there will be a panic in the oil industry, in the oil world, over it. And they know that they have that power, and they've threatened to use that before, and it's people. We were talking about how that Ted Cruz interview with Tucker Carlson was just went super viral, and one of the things that and there's an excellent interview where they're arguing in Israel, and the people who are getting bombed on are yelling and saying, how did why is this happening? And they were like, well, we didn't know Iran had this level of this ignorance, this complete ignorance of what they have no idea what they're up against. They think that, it's Iran. It's just another one of those, countries like Afghanistan and Iraq. And no, folks, no. Iran is 80 million people. You have no idea what you're up against. I mean, they say how even like the U.S. helping, they may not be able to. I mean, they are. And I think people for a long time were getting mad at Iran at why are you taking this? Why are you taking? Well, I think they've had enough. I think they've had enough.
Because wasn't it the Hamas negotiator, the person that was trying to negotiate peace, that was struck inside of Iran?
Yeah, they killed a whole bunch.
Ismail Haniyeh.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah. No, they've killed a lot of the negotiators just with their very first attack.
And they just did it again.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't want peace, y'all.
No, they don't want negotiations. Nope.
It's war at all costs.
And think of that. Think of the brain that says, I don't want negotiations. Let's murder all the negotiators. I mean,
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah. Right.
Who I have a personal, and I don't mind if he sees this. I want him to know, as a South Carolinian, I despise you. I would like you to not talk anymore. You embarrass us every time you open your mouth.
Who's going to run against him?
You go on the front lines and fight, folks.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Well, we need somebody to run against him. So here we go.
It will not be me. I am done with organized politics.
Oh, I get it.
I'm
done. Organize and unite under one party roof that rejects the donor money outside of the donor-owned duopoly. The party is right here, the Green Party. Amen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Green Party is the right place. It is. It is very difficult to do left unity. I'll tell you, it's really rough.
Yeah,
but we're here.
We keep trying.
We're yeah, and we're gonna keep pushing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody bring their strength and put it in here. You're welcome to come. Yeah, we're not a monolith. We're not authoritarian. And one thing I wanted to mention while we were talking about, like what am I trying to say? Lost it. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's okay. That's okay.
Like the way people have been oppressed. That's the word I was trying to find.
Okay.
And now it's kind of gone the other way a little bit. In some instances, people use identity as a weapon to silence your voice as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's not the idea of fighting oppression by silencing others. If a person is in the fight trying to help as many people as possible, why would you be mad at them for being different than you? I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I mean, right. There are plenty of tactics that are used to divide, and they're always going to be there, unfortunately. But you have to, all right. The star of the show.
Miss Mess.
Yeah, that's what you feel about Jim Clyburn. I mean, what?
Ooh, that. That's another one.
Oh,
That's another one.
these
I have
people.
words for Mr. Clyburn. I have words for
These-
him.
Yep. I have some too.
Yeah, just
Choice words for
Yeah.
Mr. Clyburn.
I'm sure yours are a little more heated than mine. I was very disappointed in how in 2020 he just sold all of the Bernie people out completely.
to
You know, I
support.
still had like an inkling of hope, just a little bit in 2020. I ain't there anymore.
You know,
So
no,
He talked to his constituents in a way that he has no right to talk to them. And I have some questions about, you know, the conditions in some of the districts that he is over. PJ don't have no words. I get Jim Clyburn,
Like,
but yeah, that's
no, and
between him and Lindsey Graham. Please don't hold, you know, folks, don't hold them against folks in South Carolina. We don't support them.
hey, I don't know if you know who Mike Bost is. I got Mike Bost.
don't know.
Mr. Trump, Mr. Military Man, you know.
Yeah.
He's so bad.
No, it's a nightmare everywhere, and like I said, it's because I mean I don't know what it's going to take for people to understand what power they have to vote.
Yeah.
But if they understood that it doesn't, it doesn't matter in theory how much money a campaign has. You can go in there and vote for something else. You can.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know, maybe the country's going to get so shook up by what's going on that we'll finally get some people making different choices. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt every week we come on and we just think it's the worst week ever. I'm like,
And
no,
then it gets worse.
Then it gets worse. And also, like, I think if they close this, because I was watching I think it was Geopolitical Economy Report. I was watching something. I was watching something. I want to say that was it from 6 years. No, it was Al Jazeera. And I know Al Jazeera is, we got our feelings about Al Jazeera.
Right.
But I watched an episode from 6 years ago where they were talking about Iran, the implications of Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh.
And it's worth watching. And also, like, I think people need to understand this. Like, this isn't a joke.
Right.
You're talking about a country being forced, a sovereign nation, first off. A sovereign nation. I can't say that strongly enough. They don't have to explain themselves to anybody.
Oh God.
They don't have to. And then for the arrogance of the United States and this little vicious mini-me over there, to say, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, and no enrichment of plutonium or anything like that, or uranium is acceptable to us. You don't get to tell a sovereign nation that.
Yeah.
And again, the underlying, it is, completely racist. It's just completely racist. It's pure white supremacy. People want to know the definitions. Here's a fantastic example. They think they can talk about a country and say and if the country's going to have nuclear power or nuclear bombs, or it's their effing country. They can do what they want. But no, it isn't according to them, because they're white and they think that they run the effing world. And that's, it is.
And there's
racist.
also that map of the military bases that are surrounding Iran,
literally.
And look what happened to, what was it, Libya, that gave up their nuclear program, and next thing you know, they came in and just wiped out everything.
Right.
The only reason we haven't done that to North Korea because they got nukes.
Right.
And don't mind letting you know, like, you try us,
right.
we got something for that. And
I know they make fun of him for it, but it's keeping him from getting bombed now, ain't it?
He's you can laugh at him all you want, but you ain't up in his face. Yeah. And so, like, I would argue also, and I was watching, I think it was Brian Berletic, and some people were talking about that if anything, Iran absolutely, when you have a sociopath next door, you need weapons.
Yeah.
And you need weapons comparable to the weapons that sociopath has.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with an entity that has no conscience, that is backed by an entity that has no conscience. You can't reason with it. Stop, P.
I think the scariest. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think the scariest thing, and that people need to realize, is now we've gotten a full learning, little schooling in the psychopaths that are Israel.
Mhm.
And on top of that, they have nuclear bombs. I mean, there
Yeah.
couldn't be anything worse. You know, North Korea's
Yeah.
nuclear bombs, they're cool. They know what they're doing. They know that they need them to
I
protect.
may not agree
right?
with how they treat their citizens, but we're talking about the way the world looks at them and the ability to attack. But
Well, again,
we don't have to like how they run their country, but having a nuke in your arsenal keeps you from the US coming in and just wiping you out.
well,
Mom
you have to also recognize all the extreme propaganda that goes into that.
That's true.
You know, the thing is, I know we look at, like, let's say China or North Korea's enthusiasm about their country, and we'll see some videos and we'll think, oh my God, these people are so propagandized. Oh my God. And it's like,
That's
no, there's actually a real reason to be proud of your country when they have held off the psychopaths that are the US and Israel. I mean, there is a reason to be proud. There's a reason to be proud of North Korea that they pulled that off. I mean, we bombed a third of their population. Imagine the bombing of the third of the population of the US. Imagine that. We did that to Korea. So I'd be proud too. I'd be like, North Korea, yay.
Because, why should they be?
Right.
Yeah.
And like,
we survived.
Right.
The US
We
assault.
made it.
And not only that, we know our enemy.
Yes.
We know who we are dealing with. So that when you come over here, which is what has been happening in Iran with these supposed talks, my only pushback with Iran is like, going in that the United States and the Zionist entity do not bargain in good faith.
Of course. Yeah.
They work in tandem and they lie.
If their mouths are moving, they're lying. Like you can't. You're coming as a good faith actor, and I think about that with Hezbollah and other groups that have, like, hey, we honored the ceasefire. That's noble, and I love the fact that you have integrity. But I need y'all to move like you understand that you are battling entities that have no integrity, have no conscience, have no mercy.
Angela, Angela, hang on. I wanted her to talk about empire because we're already at 8:00 almost, and we had a little chat before the show. If you can.
Man.
So you were talking about, you studied history in college, and you want to talk about how empires fall?
I'm a college dropout of the University of North Florida, also known as You Never Finished. I didn't, but I initially started out as an ed major, changed my major many thousands of years ago to history. And one of the things and I'm still a history buff, one of the things that I enjoy is, and I think is relevant for people in this moment, because it goes back to all that we've been talking about, people by design in this country are ahistorical. I think it's important to study history. And I think one of the things to follow is the fall of the Roman Empire. Pull it up. There's 1,000 podcasts about it, 1,000 little infographics about it, and see the parallels. Because we're watching the fall of an empire, and it is never clean. It is never painless. It is never bloodless. But you are watching this empire fall, and in a hell of a lot less years than 1,000. Like, what did this bad boy? What is it? 200 is the cap on empires before they start crumbling. And this one doesn't want to, as they usually doesn't want to go quietly. But you'll see a lot of parallels in the way that, the fault lines being both inside of the empire and outside of it. You can't go around abusing other populations and think they're not going to hit you back. We see that happening right now. And you were talking about, the people in the Zionist entity going, oh my gosh, we didn't know they had something that could do that. Good. You're not supposed to know that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to know that. Yeah. I saw, what is that one ballistic missile? That thing is massive. And it's a sonic boom when I said, oh my, Team Iran, do that. Like, shock and awe.
Yeah.
This place doesn't have the corner market cornered on shock and awe. I'm glad to see somebody, as a friend of mine said, bloody the bully's nose. So
Yeah.
this
And
gives me
meanwhile,
a lot of
Gaza,
light.
And
meanwhile, Gaza's still going on.
and Angela,
Yes.
they in our world, you've named a bunch of YouTube folks that you've listened to, and I know all of them, and I've listened to all them, and we've talked to I've listened to them talk about how they all said, oh my God, these people have no idea what Iran has. They're listing all these things and sure enough, it's happening, and they're all surprised that the Iron Dome didn't hold up, and then they're like,
Imagine
oh,
that.
we knew that because and we're just listening to regular folks who pay attention. I mean, what is our government? Who the hell are they that they don't know this stuff? Ted Cruz didn't know anything about Iran, that's for sure. Yeah.
No, there's a
Neither
level
did Pierce
of
Morgan,
arrogance.
by the way.
Oh, really?
Again, it goes back to what you said and about racism and the
Yep.
fact that these brown people can't create something that would knock us on our butt. They're not capable of that until they did it.
Right.
And it's like, first rule, know your enemy.
Yeah.
So
Joe had a comment. Howard Zinn spelled it out decades ago.
My favorite book. Oh my God.
And then Edie, it's like Greta and the Madeleine never happened.
Yeah.
I know.
And that's still
and
happening.
Also,
Gaza
the
still
Samud convoy who are being brutalized in Egypt right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just like, when does it stop?
Yep.
These people are literally putting their bodies on the line. And I know y'all discussed like folks, resist how you can with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what folks knew to do. We will attempt to go to the Rafah crossing and give people aid if we possibly can, because the situation is so egregious, we don't know to do anything else. And
Right.
and the entities that are supposed to be protecting, I mean, the United Nations is useless. It's absolutely useless. So what are you supposed to do?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, the Security Council. What's the point in that?
Right.
For y'all,
that's not United Nations. That's a couple of favorites, and everybody else can pound sand, right?
It's absolutely useless. Like, we don't have time to quibble politics when you have people who are literally being starved to death. I never thought I would see anything like this in my lifetime.
I know.
Not in my lifetime.
Right.
It is an outrage.
And to go back to the people being proud of their country, well, for the most part, the people in those countries, the government is kind of doing what they want. I mean, compare that to ours, where we're just in horror that, right. Well, like we said, this is something we haven't been around since World War II. We're seeing this historic thing, and our government's on the side of the Nazis. It's like, oh my God. I mean, it's surreal and discouraging, and you want to fight, and yet our country is on the wrong side. Our government, our leaders are on the wrong side. It's just so, it's difficult.
Imagine that, the United States being on the wrong side.
I know. Well, but I guess maybe it's on top of that is like the slow torture of starvation.
I feel you, Joe. Beam me up, but I'm not gonna go pollute somebody else's planet either. We're gonna fix this one. We're gonna fix this one.
There is no planet B, right?
No.
Yeah, good one. I like that.
I don't know where I got it.
Okay.
I used to do environmental stuff too.
Yeah.
And Abby Martin today, I was really impressed with her. She was on Lee Camp's show.
Okay.
She's doing a documentary called The Greatest Evil in the World or something. Sorry, we'll probably have it in the show on Saturday. I'll get that wrong, but it's the U.S. military. If everybody everywhere stopped doing everything that hurts the environment and went to zero, the U.S. military would still be making it rise.
Right.
That's how bad.
Yeah, they're the number one polluter on the planet. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. Isn't that?
And the greatest threat to the earth and humanity.
Yep.
Yeah.
In every
sense. Yeah. So I would like to challenge everyone to donate to your local Green Party, or if you're here, please consider donating to ILGP. We are gearing up for 2026, and we're going to need some cash flow. So I put that in the chat, and also if you want to scan the QR that's right up there, you can also volunteer, become a member, stay informed. You can sign up for our newsletter if that's all you're down to do right now. She's being attacked by a kitty.
I know. I love it. The battle is on. Who's
So
gonna
that's my
win?
plug for today. $26 for 2026.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
So that's my plug.
Oh
Did
my
you have
God.
anything you wanted to close with? That cats are the best or something? Well, I
Oh.
don't know. I'm
They
a dog
are,
person.
but
I
I
love them
also-
too.
I want to, and it's a discussion because there's so many layers to it. When we're talking about medical apartheid, we're talking about the need to resist. I want to lift up the name of Adriana Smith,
Okay.
a young woman in Georgia who was legally deceased, but she was pregnant, and under Georgia's law, they couldn't take stop possum in the pregnancy. And I am learning more details about it. I know that the infant is only 1 pound 10 ounces.
Oh
Their
God.
little boy is extremely premature. The mother is beginning to decay, from what I understand. And so I want to lift up her name. I want to lift up her family.
Yeah.
I want us to, because we're in Juneteenth season, and when we talk about Juneteenth, to me, we're talking about resistance and what it means to be Black in this country. And medical apartheid is enmeshed in our experience here, and the precedent that is being set, that you can use someone's body against their will to incubate a baby.
Okay.
Against their will. She's not even, her family could not have the plug pulled. This young woman is dead. This infant, this little one has been taken out of a decaying mother.
Oh my God.
I want people to understand this.
Well, how is this any different from the Handmaid's Tale? There was one of the later seasons. She was Black, come to think of it. She was a handmaid. She got attacked and she was in a coma. They didn't care about her. They were only worried about the baby. That's it.
Yeah.
And
She
people,
wasn't even alive. She had no chance of recovery.
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are. And this is against the will and the wishes of this family, of this beautiful young woman. That's beyond heartbreaking. This beautiful, beautiful young woman who her family should have had a say in the way that she was handled, and in the way that this pregnancy was handled.
And that's terrifying. They take away
their
your rights.
Their rights were completely infringed on and taken away.
Well, you remember that lady in Florida? Was it Terry Schiavo?
Yep. Terry
Oh.
Schiavo. And
Yeah, her family wanted her to be let go. Her husband wouldn't do it.
So I just want people to I want to lift her up. I want to lift up her family. I want, whatever y'all believe in, send the best to this little one, a little baby boy. The family has named him Chance. He's in the NICU. Stop, possum. I have animals doing things, but little Chance is in the NICU. He's very, very premature.
Yeah.
And I don't know what ways we need to come together as communities and unite as communities against this outrage and say, this is not going further than this. This was bad enough. We are calling out a medical apartheid and continued war on Black people and people's bodily autonomy in general. And we're not going to stand for it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's been that way for decades. Decades and decades. It's not new, right?
It needs to hit a brick wall, and it needs to hit one now.
Yeah. Well, we got to break the system. That's why I'm for a general strike. I want to break the system. Let's have a do-over and have all people like you, like, let's get this part pushed. And, the people that want healthcare for all, let's get that part pushed. And everybody has the ideas. We have the solutions. They're just laying there, y'all. Let's just do them. But we can't until we get some people out of our way.
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Leave that alone. I'm gonna be good.
Gonna get us kicked off.
No.
Oh, okay.
I am not advocating violence.
Okay. Good.
Hmm.
Me either. I am
I
a
know,
peace-loving
I know.
person, but I will defend myself verbally or whatever.
Yeah.
if the
People
time
have the
comes.
right to defend themselves.
They do.
Iran has the
Absolutely
right
do.
to defend
And
itself.
Yep.
I can't say it loud enough.
Mm.
Lebanon has the right to defend itself.
Right.
Syria.
Migrants in LA have the right to defend themselves. Where we
Right.
want to go with it.
Right. Right.
All over the
So,
place.
Viva la raza in LA. And
Damn
happy
straight.
Juneteenth to my people. Happy Pride to my
Yay.
people.
Yes.
Happy Pride.
Happy
So y'all
Pride,
tune in
everybody.
Saturday. It's gonna be a banger of a show, I'm sure.
Yeah. We do news of the week on Saturdays, and every week
Yeah.
it just, yeah.
Saturday at noon Central, and the show just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. I don't even start putting it together till after this one. And because I wanted to be close to the Saturday, but oh my gosh, so much stuff happens. So it's like, where do we start? All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
And
Please
thank you,
like,
Angela.
subscribe, share,
Hey.
hit the bell so you know when we go live. That's
Yay.
something I keep forgetting to do. And I just joined the people you were talking about a minute ago.
Oh, good.
I went ahead and joined them.
Okay.
And I hit the bell. That's very important because then it just shows up in your notifications. So, yeah. And we'll see y'all Saturday.
And we had
Thanks,
cats.
Angela.
We had cats on our show. Woo! I'm so excited. Oh my God.
And it's not even Catterday.
There you go. All right.
All right. All right. See you guys later.
All right,
And
bye
Angela,
now,
if you want to
everybody.
stick for a second, that's fine. If you don't, I understand.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising.